Hello, Sir Darwin. Me and my group decided to shoot our learnings or what we have learned about Rizal subject in this semester because of lack of money and lack of time. And so we decided it to shoot it in online and comprise it all before we pass it to you. I hope you consider our video, our output. That's all, sir. Thank you. Everyone, my name is Ana Miminyosa. I was assigned to share my knowledge about Rizal's higher education. Rizal had personal reason why he studying abroad because he wanted to cure his mother's eye ailment. He wanted to become an eye specialist. He also wanted to study in the culture of laws and governments of European countries in order to help his countrymen. For Rizal's mission of the education is to elevate the country to the highest set of glory, develop the people's mentality, since education is the foundation of society. For social progress, Rizal claimed that only education could the country to save from domination.
Hello everyone, I'm Shisa Shane Pangasian and I'm assigned Rizal in the 19th century. Rizal in the 19th century Philippines. Jose Rizal was born in the 19th century. During this time, Spain's glory and role as a colonial power was already waning. The natives of the Philippines were slowly realizing the need to awaken their national consciousness. This was sparked by movements against the oppression of the Spanish colonizers. The events around the world also contributed to the formation of national consciousness led by Rizal and other illustrados during the 19th century. Different events contributed to how Rizal's own national consciousness was shaped. By the 19th century, 2 centuries after the Spaniards first came to the Philippines, the hold of the Catholic Church in other Spanish colonies was already waning, yet this was not the case in the Philippines. The Spanish friars, despite their controversies involving them, were crucial in maintaining the Philippine archipelago as a Spanish colony. The growing power of the friars in the 19th century urged the reformists and nationalists to work harder to let the people know who the real enemies were. After all, aside from being the father of the modern Philippine nation, Rizal was a genuine Spanish intellectual during his time, persecuted and executed not only for his pro-independence ideas but also, like the faith, suffered by many peninsularis throughout the 19th century for being a free thinker. To dedicate the lives of youth to the ideals of freedom and nationalism, for which our heroes lived and died, to pay tribute to our national hero for devoting his life and works in shaping the Filipino character, to gain an inspiring source of patriotism through the study of Rizal's life works and writings.
Descendants of the Chinese Mestizo. John Bowring described Chinese Mestizo as more active and enterprising, more prudent and more pioneering, more oriented to trade and commerce than the Indios. For Fyodor Tagore, called the Chinese Mestizo as the richest and most enterprising portion of the entire population.
Hello everyone, I am Christian May F. Dison and I am assigned to share with you what I have learned about Republic Act 1425. So in June 12, 1956, President Ramon Magsaysay signed the Republic Act 1425, which aims to teach all students, private schools, public schools, no exempted. It must be taught in the school, especially the readings of the No Limitang Here and the El Filibusterismo, the two most famous Rizal's novel. That's why it is taught in our high school, because it is a preparation for us when we go to college. because it is going to be required regardless what your course is, regardless where you go to school, public or private. It is required for every student to take Rizal's Life, Works, and Writings. So, the main goal of this Republic Act 1425 is for the rededication of our ideals of freedom and nationalism, which our heroes lived and died. So, this course is not just about getting to know who Rizal, our national hero, is, but this is for us Filipinos to remember the feeling of freedom and the love of our country in which our heroes have fought for. It has been very important to Senator Claro M. Recto and President Jose Paciano Lopez to fight for nationalism through Rizal for the reason that we Filipinos that time in 1956, our culture and our politics were so fanatized by the United States of America that in fact we are already freed in 1946. So they fight for this law to be signed and to be implemented so that we will have our own ways on how to become free and how to have the sovereignty, so that we can be aware of the unity and freedom that we have already achieved. So I have also learned that as per the law, students must read the whole Noli Me Tangere and the El Filibusterismo book. This is the main reason why the Catholic friars went against it, because in those novels, it stated all the things they do that is not favorable to us Filipinos. These books aims to enlighten or convince every Filipino to fight for their freedom. And the friars think that if the Filipinos knows about the things that are not favorable for them, they might lose their faith to the Roman Catholic. So I believe that Republic Act 1425 was written during the time when patriotism and nationalism was lost and needed. And I believe that in this future generation, we must not feel the burden of learning RA 1425, for it is very important because it is also for us Filipinos to be aware of our freedom that we must practice or we must enjoy.
Hi everyone, my name is Dara Asuero, assigned the Theory of Nationalism. Nationalism is best understood by the first looking into the term nation. Benedict Anderson is a prominent historian and political scientist who explored the origin of nationalism, defined the nation as a fabrication, a bond between people who did actually exist prior to its own recognition. For him, the nation is an imagined community and imagined as both inherently limited and sovereign. 2006. Anderson argued that the nation is imagined as a community because, regardless of actual inequalities that prevail, the nation is always convinced as deep horizontal comradeship. It is imagined because it exists in the figment of the people collective imagination. According to Anderson, nationness is a cultural artifact that is felt as having existed since time immemorial but is objectively modern as it first emerged towards end of 18th century. Jose Rizal came from a family belonging to the middle class. His father owned lands and her mother was one of the most highly educated women in the Philippines at the time. The family lived a good life compared with a common Filipino during those times. Well provided and was sustained in his studies, Rizal was a voracious reader. Young Jose Rizal immediately became a top flight student.
And also, I was assigned about Jose Rizal's life in abroad. National hero Jose Rizal left the Philippines in May 1882 to pursue further studies abroad after becoming disillusioned with how Filipinos were treated as second-class citizens. In education institutions and elsewhere, he enrolled at the Universidad Central Madrid in Spain to study medicine.
Ingin menyapa tapi sayangnya kau tak tahu. Ingin